We're inspired every day by our patients here at Harrington Cancer Center. They put their heart and soul in their battle to beat cancer. The Cancer Center building is a special place. For almost 30 years, it's served our patients extremely well. But the reality is, we're out of space. Even by today's volumes, we need a cancer center that's about twice as large as our current Cancer Center building. And the other reality we have to face is that we're going to be seeing increasing numbers of cancer patients in the next several years. We need a new facility that serves our patients well for the next 3 decades. Of course, we'll continue to provide the same state-of-the-art care that we've always provided at the Harrington Cancer Center. We plan a $25 million expansion to our current facility. Our patients deserve an environment that is beautiful, comfortable, and respects their privacy. We want to create a healing environment. Our inspiration comes from people like the ones you're about to meet. We strive to excel because of our patients.
When I was first diagnosed with cancer, I was 47 years old. Pretty young mother, I thought, with 4 wonderful children, and I was teaching, I was directing children's choirs at that time, and my life was just full.
At first, it just kind of leaves a person in shock, and you just keep going.
When I was first diagnosed with breast cancer, all I could think of is, I'm going to die from this. I'm not going to make it.
At first, the news was just such a shock. He was perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, and boom, we're at daycare. And the next day, we were on a ventilator. The next morning, we have cancer. For 3 weeks, you're completely numb.
I try to think about it and remember all the dates for sure, but it feels like a lifetime, so.
So I entered that morning for my appointment, and they knew I was first patient, and I did, but I didn't think a whole lot about it. I thought, oh, well, that's kind of neat. But as I entered, I thought, oh, this is just wonderful. I felt such a good feeling about having our own cancer center.
Dr. Pruitt was my mom's oncologist, and he always treated her, so good, and she loved him.
He had 12 radiation treatments, but he still does chemo, and I have to do chemo for his total treatment program is 3.5 years. Now we have gotten to maintenance where he does chemo once a month and spinal taps every 3 months.
The people there are really, really nice, and they really, you can tell their professionalism, and their attitude is just strictly about the patient.
Just having Harrington and being in my own home surrounded by people and friends and family that loved us, that was the biggest part, and I'm really glad that I stayed here for my treatment.
The people at Harrington walked him through every process, where at the other hospitals and other places where they are always talking to Dad. At Harrington, they took him. I was just a witness, I believe, because they walked him through every step. They told him what went on, and I was just supposed to hear, listen, and know, but everything that was directed at him, which made him feel special and made him less scared, and more trusting of the people around him to let them pretty well do what they had to do.
Like I said, I'm from Roswell, New Mexico originally. If this would have happened in Roswell where I lived, I would have been driving 200 miles to Amarillo, 200 miles to El Paso, or 200 miles to Albuquerque probably.
Just being able to be here is the key. It's the key to make everything better.
The biggest thing I've learned is that life is way too short, and whether you live to be 80 or whether you live to be 40, you've got to make the most of it, because, it's short.
Number one is just not to ever take anything for granted. Little things like cutting the yard, throwing the garbage to the alley, going to the store, picking up the kids from school. Just never take anything for granted, and enjoy every minute.
Anything can and will happen, but you just stick to your guns, and usually it works out for the best.
You think about is Robert going to be able to look at me because I'm going to look different? And, just all that. And then you realize, God, how much your husband loves you, and your kids are just like, we want you. Don't worry about that.
To take one day at a time, and
conversation with my circle of friends.
Thank you for one more precious memory with my family.
Thank you for one more football game with my son.
Thank you for one more day with my beautiful wife and my 3 boys.
Thank you for one more video game.
I'm thankful for our courageous patients, their dedicated families, our compassionate staff, and our generous donors. Thank you for joining us in achieving our goal, beating cancer.